Just in, the super PAC backing Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s bid for president says it raised $2.1 million in the hours after he announced his choice for vice presidential running mate yesterday. He picked Silicon Valley attorney and entrepreneur Nicole Shanahan as his running mate. He said this about his role in the race.
Our campaign is a spoiler. I agree with that. It's a spoiler for President Biden and for President Trump.
This all comes as RFK Jr. is still battling to get his name on a majority of states' ballots in November, a challenge that his running mate, who has already contributed millions toward helping him advertise, can certainly help take on.
This campaign is up against the most powerful financial interest in history. We also face a determined campaign to keep us off the ballot by fair means or foul. I'm grateful that Nicole has put her self-interest aside and made the momentous and very, very difficult decision to embark with me on this extraordinary crusade to win back our country.
Panel is back here. Let's first talk about this choice that he made. He could have gone with somebody with high name ID, Aaron Rodgers, although I'm dying to know what happened there, if that was a real thing. Yeah. He went for money, big time money. And as I mentioned, she has been giving him high dollars to get on air and his super PAC as well.
Yeah, she's a venture capitalist, formerly married to Google founder Sergey Brin. As you mentioned, Dana, she helped him fund that Super Bowl ad a few months ago as well. Kennedy, based off the polling that we have, Bloomberg Morning Consult has, he's getting about 9% of the vote right now. There's a difference of about 4 percentage points between Biden and Trump. You're saying both campaigns expressed some type of angst about this candidacy. The fact that he didn't go for Aaron Rodgers or Killer Mike probably makes him less of a novelty, actually, and even more formidable as an opponent come to November.
Okay, so you mentioned the campaigns of Joe Biden and Donald Trump being worried. And our polling shows that he does take from both of their sort of support bases. Another 1:52 a.m. Post by the former president says the following: RFK Jr. is the most radical left candidate in the race by far. He went on to say, he is crooked, Joe Biden's political opponent, not mine. I love that he is running. Does he protest too much?
Well, I mean, former President Trump is very good at framing and very good at trying to make something be what would be best for him. And in this case, I think that's what he's doing. Your polling, other polling I've seen suggests that RFK Jr. is going to pull from both sides. And I think both sides are worried. But I think it's kind of hilarious in a way that he's saying that now is a way to frame. And we'll see if it works.
And we know that Biden world Democrats are concerned. They set up sort of a team at the DNC to try to combat the rise of RFK Jr. But you're hearing there is genuine concern in Trump world.
That's right. I do think, and I should hedge or clarify a bit, that when RFK Jr. first announced that he was going to be running as an independent, Trump's team was far more worried then than they are now. But I do think there's this buzz out there right now that RFK Jr. is going to hurt Biden more, and that only Biden's team is worried about that. And that's just not the case. There are many people close to Donald Trump on the outside, people like Steve Bannon, others, but also inside his campaign that are concerned. And the main concern there is that, Donald Trump gets a lot of the anti-establishment voters, but so does RFK Jr. They have similar messages on some of these fronts.
When you said
anti-vaccine,
I was just going to say when you said anti, I thought you were going somewhere else. Okay, so we're about to do a truth sandwich, as they call it. There have been multiple studies that show no link between vaccines and autism or other issues. However, this is something that Nicole Shanahan, RFK Jr.'s new running mate, and the candidate at the top of the ticket agree on. They are anti-vaxxers. Listen to what she said.
Pharmaceutical medicine has its place, but no single safety study can assess the cumulative impact of one prescription on top of another prescription and one shot on top of another shot on top of another shot throughout the course of childhood.
again, one of the studies was so flawed that it was retracted. The author's medical license was revoked. The CDC estimates childhood vaccinations prevent 4 million deaths per year.
Yeah, just watching the rollout of her vice presidential announcement yesterday, I was struck just by how much they leaned into kind of that anti-vax rhetoric. And so to the point about taking voters from both sides, you've got the Kennedy name, right, that's synonymous with the Democratic Party. But to Elena's point, you also have this anti-establishment swath that really usually leans toward the MAGA Donald Trump wing of the party that's also going toward the Robert F. Kennedy.
And on that note, the sort of people who are driven by anti-vax idealism, whatever you want to call it, who might in other times go for Donald Trump, are mad at him because he did push through the vaccine for COVID. And we don't have time to play it right now, but at the few times he's mentioned it, he's gotten booed.
Yeah, no, he not only is responsible for getting that vaccine, something that in a normal year you might think he would be proud of, but he also took the vaccine. So there's definitely a disconnect there, and the issue of being anti-vax certainly resonates with a chunk of voters, and those voters are largely people who vote for President Trump.
Yeah, there are some who are more on the left, but that's a whole nother conversation.